Welcome to the Patty Sadler Show. It's my pleasure to have you here with me today. We have a great show lined up. I have some special guests. Rev Steve here for the New Thought Talk show. I have Richard Graham here for Country Cousins, and a little bit of information I'd like to share with you about Drug of Choice. And anyway, I'd like to welcome my first guest. This is Rev Steve, and he's here from the New Thought Talk, his talk show.
Right. Thank you for having me on the show. You know, I got to tell you, the last time we talked, our seats were reversed.
They were.
You were just getting ready to get your show started.
Yes.
And I was doing the biz show. You know, Patty, I've been doing New Thought Talk with Rev Steve now for, about 3.5 years.
Wow.
And I got started, I was a guest here on a show. Peter Mordyke was sitting in for, this is before Chuck Leonard had his show on the station. It was still working just out of Central Valley Talk. And Peter was filling in for him on a Tuesday or Thursday, and he needed someone. So he said, well, would you come down? And I did that once or twice. And then Mike said, well, there's a space. Would you like to do a show? And I said, sure. So little did I know, here I am 3 years later doing the show, and we're having a great time. But the focus of the show originally, New Thought Talk with Rev Steve. For those of you that don't know, New Thought is what is called a progressive Christian philosophy, or New Thought ancient wisdom philosophy. It incorporates teachings from philosophy, from some of the Eastern religions, and it melds it with teachings of Jesus from the Bible. And we recognize the interplay of science in our life and what's going on. And so when I started the show here, it was to really highlight the New Thought, what we call centers or churches in the Fresno, Madera area. I am the minister of the Spiritual Awareness Center located out in Madera. Mm-hmm. And so I'd have guests on from the various centers. But what I found in talking to Mike Briggs, the owner of the station, was that our audience we had a local audience, but we had a larger audience that transcended the Central Valley because we're online. Mm-hmm. And what ultimately happened is 3 years later, Mike's telling me that our show, we get some 30,000 views.
That's amazing.
So we've got an audience. As a result of doing that, now I've expanded the focus of the show to a broader group, and now we have through Skype where I can we can reach out to anybody anywhere as long as they have a Skype connection. Uh-huh. I have guests on the show that I've interviewed from all over the country. I've got a guest coming up on the 16th of May. That's Bishop Carlton Pearson out of Tulsa. Wow. And Carlton was, he is a fourth generation, was a Pentecostal minister, uh-huh. And he started a church in Tulsa that actually grew to about 6,000 strong. Wow. He sat on the board of Oral Roberts University for about 15 years. And somewhere in the early 1990s, as Carlton has told his story, as he was doing studies in the Bible and reading some other things, he was watching a show on TV, Patty, and it was a documentary, and it was took place in Rwanda, and he's watching these women and little kids coming back to the village, and he had this thought, and he believes it was a divine thought about the God that I teach. I can't believe that the God that I teach would condemn these women and these children to an eternity of suffering because they never had the opportunity to hear the word that I teach.
Right.
And so he developed what he calls the gospel of inclusion. And he's been sharing that since the early 90s. He lost his church basically in Tulsa. Mm-hmm. He went up to Chicago to take over the Universal Christ Temple, which was started by Johnny Coleman. She was a unity minister that formed her own church up there, and now he's come back to Tulsa. And he was going to be on my show this Saturday, but his father just passed away, and so they've got a big thing going on. So he's going to be on in May on the 16th. Wow. And we may actually get him out into the Fresno area somewhere in mid-July.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, it's a great story. But I've had people like John Miller on the show. He's a movie producer, and just people from all over the country. We've reached out and touched. We've got a lot of good feedback. There's a lot of crazy people and stuff. And It's been a lot of fun.
What a journey and what an experience to be able to meet with some of these people and share their message and their passion. Tell me, what is your big passion with this show?
My passion with the show is what my vision statement, if you will, is it's the message, not the messenger. Okay?
Right. Uh-huh.
And I had the opportunity last year. I was invited to Canada to be a keynote speaker at the Canadian New Thought Conference up there, and that's the message I took to them. I had to recently turn down an invitation to the INTA ministerial conference that took place last month, and it's the same message that I'm taking. And Carlton and I have been talking. We're on the same page with this, along with some of the other New Thought organizations. So this is exciting, getting this out. There is so much that we see and perceive that where change can be made in our society. But
Yes.
we have people that are leaving in droves, organized worship of any kind. And some of this has to do with the technology, the internet. So we got a show, we reach out, and we talk to them that way. But to get people to make that spiritual connection, to realize the truth of who they are.
What an important thing to do, because so many people are lacking in spirituality in their lives, and there is the internet. There's all these ways that they can reach out and make a connection. So your mighty message would be that you are the messenger, right?
Well, I am a messenger, but it really is the message.
Yes.
But I also am the minister of the church in Madera, the Spiritual
Wow.
Awareness Center, and we're open to all people, local people here in the area that want to experience our teachings, our philosophies.
What
we
are your
welcome you.
meetings?
We
When are your
meet
meetings?
Sunday mornings at 10:30.
Okay.
And this particular Sunday, tomorrow, is what we call our Bring a Friend Potluck Sunday.
Wow,
And we always eat
potluck
good out there, so that's
Sunday.
that's a good thing. Come on out and join the service. I do have I do have a place here in the Tower District where I speak. We call it the fourth Sunday in the Tower with Rev Steve, right up the street here at the
Wow.
soap company. I do that at 10:30, the fourth Sunday of every month. So
Okay.
it keeps me pretty busy.
Well, okay, so Rev Steve, he's a minister, he's an international speaker, he's a motivational inspiration. He has his local church in,
Madera.
Madera, what's the
Yep.
name of your church?
It's Spiritual Awareness
The
Center.
Spiritual Awareness Center. And man, this guy is all over the world. So I just want to thank you for being here on my show today. It's such an honor to have you here. Do you have anything special coming up on your show? I know that your show, it's going to be on Saturday mornings at 11. Is that correct?
We're on Saturday morning, Central Valley Talk, CentralValleyTalk.com at 11 o'clock. In June, I have Reverend Galen McDowell. He is the assistant minister at the Christ Universal Temple in Chicago. He'll be on the show. I've got Wanda Moore. She is a prayer practitioner from the Center for Spiritual Living here in Fresno. She'll be on my show. I think it's the first Saturday in May. So we've got,
That would be the 2nd of May.
yeah, the 2nd of May, and then I've got Bishop Carlton Pearson, May 16th will be on the show. We're booked out pretty good, so.
Wow, so he's got some amazing guests coming up on his show. Food for thought. Join Rev Steve on his show, and it is the New Thought Talk, Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock. And thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you
It's a
so
great
much.
show, and I'm glad we switched seats. Take
Thank
care.
you for being here.